Yeah, hi guys.
สวัสดีค่ะ
We're just up the road having lunch and just talk about a couple of things. There's not much happening, so we're just doing a general update video, talk about a couple of things. Current status of Thailand, current status of what we're doing, that sort of thing. But yeah, it's all very quiet but anyway, we'll try and fill you in, bring you up to date on some things. Okay, the first big news is the quarantine. If you come to Thailand at the moment, it's a 2-week quarantine. But starting next month, they're dropping it down to 7 days quarantine, which is a whole lot more doable. There's a but. There's always a but. Yeah, you need to be vaccinated, right? So if you have vaccination in your home country, you can come here, show some certificate or something, yeah, and you only have to do a 7-day quarantine, yeah? If you don't have a vaccination thing, you got to do, they're coming down from 2 weeks down to 10 days vaccination. So there's a couple of improvements there, yeah? And they're talking some hard and fast date of October this year. There will be no vaccinations, no quarantines, none of that. It'll be 100% open in October. It's been this date that's been bandied about. So yeah, so things are improving a little bit. But a week, that's doable, yeah? You could come here for a week, or come here for a month, you know, do a week in quarantine. You're still having, it's not going to cost much, it's not taking up a huge chunk of your holiday. So the other side to that, though, is at the moment we're heading into hot season. Not just, I mean, Thailand is really only hot and wet, right? We're heading into hot. April next month is actually the hottest month of the year because it's building into summer, you know, May, June, July, summer sort of thing. It's building into summer, but it's not raining. So, and yeah, the humidity is mind-boggling, the temperature is mind-boggling. It's just so hot you can't do anything. But yeah, so we're heading into the hottest month, April, May, and then sort of May, June, it starts to rain. Right, so it's still hot, but it rains, so it's nice and refreshing. So yeah, so at the moment you can really feel it, the heat some days, yeah, and it'll be 90-something% humidity and, you know, 35 degrees. You really can't do much at all. I mean, even Thais don't do much at all, you know. So that's coinciding with this cutting down to 7 days quarantine, yeah. So traditionally, not a lot of people come this time of the year. So they may be in for a big shock. They're used to coming to Thailand over Christmas and that sort of thing, where it's essentially winter. It's not ridiculously hot. So yeah, they'll probably get here and go, what the hell? It's like, yeah. As for the general out and about in Thailand, it's really becoming noticeable now, the shutdowns and the economy worsening and that sort of thing. Before you drive along, there'll be a row of, say, 10 shops in a row. You might have 2 of them, 3 of them were shut, 7 of them, 8 of them were open, yeah. Now it's sort of gotten the other way now, where 8 of them will be shut and 2 of them might be open. But yeah, you can drive along some areas. I'll try and video some of it. You can drive along some areas at the moment and there'll be a row of 10, 15 shops in a row, all just shut. The shutters are down, you know, nobody's there. They're not opening back up again. They're not just having a break or something. They are shut. Really starting to notice that all over the place now, which is pretty sad for a lot of people. But saying that, there's other aspects of the Thai economy still just bounce along, you know, factories and things that make hard drives and stuff. There's just business as usual, yeah. A lot of the markets and things where they sell produce and stuff, a lot of that's business as usual, yeah. But there is a whole lot of that, like, I suppose commerce in general is shutting down, slowing down. And that's in Pattaya here, yeah. So that's a reflection of the missing tourism dollars and tourists and things, yeah. So an update on us, where as I said, it's all very quiet. We don't do a hell of a lot at the moment. there's nothing to do and no one to do it with. So yeah, we don't. Yeah, it's great. You can find yourself some beach that's completely deserted and everything, but it sort of takes away why you go to the beach, I suppose. Yeah, you go to the beach, it's full of people, there's people swimming and sunbaking, and yeah, it's altogether different when you go there and it's just completely empty. It just seems, why are we here? But yeah, so that's us. And her coming towards the end of her hairdressing. Yeah, she's getting very good at it. You may be admiring my haircut. But yeah, no, she's coming to the end of it, and she goes most days of the week now, 2 or 3 days a week, she's off doing haircuts out at the markets for free and that sort of thing. So that's all going really well. I don't think there's anything else on our side of things to update, is there? Nothing? Nothing. You know, nothing happening. Yeah, so I wish there was something to update you on. Oh, I got to get my license next week. That's a big event. Renewing my 5-year license, which is a task in itself. Thailand and the bureaucracy and stuff. Yeah, it's just mind-boggling sometimes. So it's been 5 years since you have 2 separate licenses, a car and a bike, right? And I renewed them 5 years ago, so they're coming up again. So within that 5 years, what they've changed and haven't changed, and the paperwork required and the process and all of that, it will be different. There's no two ways about it. They'll have changed something. Yeah. So the first thing that impacts all of getting this license is COVID. Yeah, because there's been a couple of shutdowns. There's now a massive. Some of those government offices have been shut for a couple of months, and another couple of months. There's now a massive backlog of people wanting to renew and get licenses and things. So the first thing we had to do was make an appointment for 2 weeks into the future, right? So my license isn't due till next month. So luckily we started this had an inkling there might be a bit of running around. So we started this process a month prior, yeah. So you'll find there's this massive backlog, right, to get that sort of stuff done. So we've made the appointment for the 24th of March, I think. It's a couple of weeks. Running around, got this list of paperwork to get, but that's unclear what paperwork I need. And you can read on the forums and things, you know, people talk about this. Oh, this is the latest stuff you need to get your license, and it varies all over Thailand, and it varies from region to region and office to office, etc. So yeah, it's a different process every year. But you need to get a medical certificate, and I've read somewhere that I need to get 2 medical certificates, right? One for motorbike, one for car. I need to get an addressing from immigration saying this is my address, you know. You need to get 2 of them. So yeah, it's a whole lot of running around. On top of that, immigration is sort of running at half speed. They've had some major computer problem. Their computers have been down for a month or so. So yeah, it's going to be a couple of day process to get the address certificate thing. So yeah, but anyway, this is something to do. Gives me something to complain about. So yeah, I'll try and video that actually as much as I can, so at least you can get some idea what the process is to go and get a license or go and get one renewed. Yes, so a big exercise in Thai bureaucracy in the next couple of weeks. I think this is the main bugbear people have with Thailand bureaucracy, right? It's not so much that there's bureaucracy, right? They have this whole Asian bureaucracy, photocopy everything 10 times, and you know, you need this document and that document, and this document's got to come from another place, and that document's dependent on something else, and It becomes a huge rigmarole. I think people wouldn't mind the bureaucracy so much as the consistency, right? If they were consistent every year and you knew you had to get this pile of documents to do your process, to get your visa, to get your license, to get your all of this, it will be fine. Or if it was the same all over Thailand, right? All these processes and bureaucracy are different all over Thailand, right? Every immigration office has slightly variations. Every license office to get your car license or buy, sell a car, etc. They'll have variations on the rules, etc. So, and within each office, they'll vary the rules every year. So, yeah, I'm thinking back 5 years ago, my last renewal, I don't think I needed a medical certificate, and I could get one address piece of paper to cover both licenses, right? There's his proof of my address, they'd accept the original and a photocopy to cover 2 license renewals, right? I've been reading on the forums and things that I'll need 2, one for each license now, So, and because there's this COVID situation where you have to make an appointment 2 weeks ahead of time just to even go to the office, I am going to make sure I have every single document they could ever want in triplicate, yeah, so I don't have to make another appointment for 2 weeks later to bring back another document. And so, yeah, next couple of days we'll run around immigration and on doctor and all of that and get all the things, 2 of each. And that ends up costing you, it's not a fortune, but it costs you $5 or something for these couple of documents and $5 for those couple of documents, and it starts to add up, yeah. Actually, even more, probably about $20 for all the documents. You got to go to the doctors, they'll charge $300. Anyway, yeah. But that's the main bugbear, yeah. If it was just consistent, I wouldn't care if they wanted a pile of documents this thick, so long as it's the same pile every year, and no matter where I went in Thailand, it's the same pile of documents, yeah. It's just that the pile of documents changes every year. Anyway, I'll stop complaining about that, but that's something we'll be doing in the next couple of weeks. Okay, the next big thing is Songkran. Next month is Songkran, which, for those of you who don't know, it's the giant water fight, right? You know, you would have seen pictures, and if you haven't, look it up, Songkran. Millions of websites and Wikipedia and all sorts of stuff about it, yeah. But it's basically the big water fight that happens every April, right? And the history of it, it's Buddhism, it's Hinduism, it's mythology, it's astrology, it's a solar calendar, it's all this stuff that goes back centuries, yeah. So, and it's all over Southeast Asia. Every Southeast Asian country has their version of it about this time of the year. So, yeah, it's steeped in history and lost in history to a certain extent, the origins of it. But it is interesting if you look it up on Wikipedia or something. It is really interesting how it came about, where it came about, how each separate country celebrates it, that sort of thing. But 13th, I think, is it? 13th is the actual...
Thai New Year.
Yeah, it's Thai New Year, right? I mean, you got to love a country that celebrates 3 separate New Years, yeah? Have normal Western Gregorian calendar New Year, Chinese New Year, which is a big event if you look back video I did a couple of weeks ago, and Thai New Year, which is Songkran, right? So 3 separate New Years, and Songkran's probably the biggest of the 3, yeah. It's national holidays of 3 or 4 days. Everyone does the pilgrimage back home. If you live in if you work in Bangkok, and you go back to the family farm for 3 or 4 days. Yeah, massive exodus all over Thailand, and which back in 2020, that exodus happening in April helped spread COVID all over the bloody country. So yeah, it was so this year it's back on, and then it's not back on, then it is back on, then they're going to have it and they're not going to have it. as of this morning, they announced they're not going to have it again, right? Or it's going to be very toned down. You just celebrate with your family in the backyard, that sort of thing, yeah. So when it's on, it's gigantic, yeah. In the middle of Bangkok, there's whole big streets are blocked off with literally 10, 20,000 people having these massive water fights. Yeah, Khao San Road, all the tourist spots. Pattaya here, yeah, all the bar strips and everywhere, yeah, everywhere there's a row of shops, they'll have all the water out the front and, you know, splashing. And so this has been, what do you call it, not abused, this has been changed over the years from what it originally was. It was originally a very gentle New Year celebration, and you gently splashed water on family and friends to celebrate the New Year thing, right? It's gone from that to this, you know, drunken idiots carrying around a Super Soaker 5000 water pistol and blasting everyone, and yeah, so it's got really, really stupid. And you can thank the Tourism Authority of Thailand has promoted that, and every backpacker in the world makes a pilgrimage to Thailand to be part of this giant water fight nowadays. So in a way, I'm sort of glad it's not going ahead full time, because it can be a pain, yeah. And living in Pattaya, it's even worse, yeah, because the official date, I think, is about the 13th, 14th. That's actual Songkran, yeah. Most places in Thailand celebrate it on the 15th, right? That's the official water fight day for that place, yeah. But then what happens is the town next door decides to do it on the 14th. So they have their official big water fight day on the 14th. The town next to that has their official big water day on the 15th or the 16th, right? Pattaya has the official big water fight day is always the 19th of April, right? But because Songkran has already started on the 15th somewhere else in Thailand, all the drunken idiots in the bars and things start on the 15th. Oh, it's Songkran, let's start. So they'll all start these little isolated pockets of full-on water fight, you know, which is fine. You can usually avoid that, but sometimes you're actually going to the bank or something, you know, you're going out for a proper business and you forget about it. You walk past one of these areas, yeah, and you get soaked with the Super Soaker 5000 or a bucket of ice water over you or something, yeah. And that's what I'm saying. It's been diverted. I'm looking for a word here. It's been diverted or whatever to be from what it was, a gentle ceremony where you went to the temple and you came home and you blessed the family and you honoured the old people and you gently splashed water on someone as like a blessing almost, yeah. And nowadays it's completely out of control. So what happens in Pattaya is it'll start on the 15th and it's still going on the 19th, right? So it'll go for a week. Right. And you can put up for a day, it's great. You can go out, right, I'm going to get wet today. I put my phone in a plastic bag. You put the goggles on so you don't get squirted in the eye. You know, you wear some old clothes. You wear an old Hawaiian shirt, you know. You can go out. One day is fine, yeah. But then the next day and the next day and the next day. So, yeah, Pattaya is probably the worst place for it because it just it goes 3 or 4 days too long. Yeah. And it's always, without fail, drunken foreigners ruin it, right? Thais still sort of adhere to the old version of Songkran, yeah. A lot of Thai girls will wear the traditional Thai dress, you know, they'll have the water fights and things, but not to the extent of, you know, absolute carnage type thing. And even if they're off in one of the full-on areas partaking in the full-on water fights, they still have a degree of common sense or yeah, what happens, right? You'll get a nurse, you know, 20-year-old nurse is riding a motorbike to work in a full nurse's uniform. Yeah, she realises she's going to get splashed. People are going to splash her with water gently, little splash. She's going to be a little bit wet on her way to work, right? But what'll happen if this 20-year-old nurse goes past a bar full of expats doing this stupid, ridiculous water fight? One of them will pour a bucket of ice water over her while she's riding the bike. You know, so this poor little 20-year-old nurse, besides nearly falling off her motorbike, has to go to work and change clothes, and the same, some little old lady will be pushing a noodle cart or a cart full of vegetables, you know. And the idea would be you would gently splash the little old lady, and she'd probably gently splash you back, and it would be a happy Songkran. Yeah, but I've seen these guys, you know, come out with these stupid great big water pistols and, you know, and just nearly kill this old lady. By 10 of them will squirt this little old lady, ruin all her produce on the thing she's pushing along. And yeah, so that side of it is ugly, and it gets completely out of control and ruins it. And again, it's always Westerners. Westerners just push the bloody thing to the limit and ruin it. Anyway, I'll stop rattling on. So yeah, we've got Songkran next month, so that, and as I said, as of this morning, it's back off again, but it's been on and off about 6 times in the last week. At first it was full back on again and everyone's getting ready to go crazy. Then it was on, but it's only in certain places. Then it was certain days, and yeah. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, it'll probably be like last year where it virtually didn't even happen. You know, a few diehards set up and tried to make it happen, but then police just came and shut them down. And so that's our update, I think. Can you think of anything else, Anne? And just happily browsing Facebook while I rattle on. God damn this infernal heat. A bit hard to show on the camera, right? But if you could just feel the level of humidity and stuff in the air at the moment, it's just oppressive, yeah. It's sort of, it's about 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock or something, and the sun's out. But we're in the shade, we've got a fan blasting at us and stuff. But yeah, you can feel it, this oppressive sort of heat, yeah. And you start to do anything, you just sweat. You have 5 showers a day, and but ideally it's only for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then it starts to calm down again, and then it starts raining. So once it starts raining, it's great. You get this hot in the middle of the day, it rains at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, cools everything down. That's great, yeah. Alright, we'll jump off. I think I've probably rattled on enough. If not, I'll redo again. As I edit this, I'll put in some photos of Songkran and those sort of things, just so you can get an idea of what it's like. Yeah. But alright guys, we'll catch you next video. Hopefully we've got something to make a video about. So, oh, we'll go to Anne's graduation. She has a big graduation when she finishes her haircut thing, so we'll probably do a... I know you're not... Okay. Yeah, so we'll do a graduation video. Maybe. Okay, guys. Bye-bye. See you next video. Thanks, guys.